Danny on the beat, boy.
Welcome to another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Your host Eddie Arnett, man. G Wit, man. What's going on,
Tighten
G
up,
Wit?
baby.
Tighten
Tighten
up,
up.
man. Jay
Tighten
Lewis on the road coming back from the game. He went to the game today, so he might be joining us in the chat here momentarily. But G Wit, man, coming out of the first quarter of the schedule, beginning the second quarter of the schedule, with a division road test going up in Indianapolis. A team with a rookie quarterback that could play tough defense. Run game. Jonathan Taylor signs a new extension. You kind of knew Irsay was going to bring him back just for the two-tone blue today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Based upon his love of the Titans and how they've dominated over the last 7 games in a row, if I'm not mistaken. And so, G, just wanted to see if there's going to be some consistency, man. It's like, we talk about in this show that being a fan of the Titans is like a bad relationship. You got your ups and downs, man.
Yeah.
You wanted to see if Tim Kelly was going to stay consistent on offense. You wanted to see Bowen mix it up like what he saw last week against the Bengals, man. Results: Colts 23, Titans 16. Titans fought an 0-1 in the division early on. G Wit, man. Your thoughts, man? After this game, I know it's only been over for a couple of hours, so I got you fresh while you got it on your mind, man. But tell me a couple of things that really stood out to you today.
Well, the obvious thing. If you're talking about consistency, let's just be real about it. This secondary is playing very consistently bad. And Christian Fulton, bless his heart, I think he's done, man. And not so much from his play, but his comments after the game.
I didn't hear what he say.
Oh man, he said it's hard to do things when you're having to fight against the wide receiver and the officials. And I'm like, dude, that is not the comment you needed to make. The bottom line was, in all honesty, Christian Fulton, he's in a serious funk right now, and it doesn't look like he's going to come out of it anytime soon. So Vrabel's got a decision to make as far as he's concerned, and that is the one thing. The other thing, and again, both of these are staying on the defensive side of the ball. You could obviously see missing Pop-Tart today.
Man,
really hurt, especially with the run defense, because the thing we forget about Pop-Tart is, people always talk about his pass rush, but his ability to play the run and to shed blocks to make tackles. That was really apparent today, because the two guys, Pico and Johnson, that they had on the other side of Simmons, they couldn't do anything. And that's one of the main reasons why you saw Zach Moss run for $164 on us, and he's the first 100-yard rusher we've had since Saquon Barkley at the beginning of the season last year.
Right.
So, those are the two things on the defensive side. Offensively, it might be time to put Chig down, man. It might be time to make him a backup, man. He is just it goes back to what we talked about. It's the same thing with NWI. It's the same thing that happened with Fursker, and now you see it happening with Chig. It's amazing what players falter under the spotlight when it's their chance to be
great,
the number one person in their position.
Right.
Chig is faltering and hit in the spotlight, man. Too many drops, too many penalties. I mean, red zone offense, one of the reasons why we wasn't successful in the red zone because of his penalties. I mean, and plus,
drop passes. Yeah.
It's just amazing to me. And again, when you talk about consistency, that's the consistency we're seeing. I don't know. Josh Wiley is not a good blocker, but he might have to step up and step in the fray, man, because you can't depend on Chig, man. You just cannot depend on Chig. And it's a shame we wasted DeAndre Hopkins' big game he had today, but at the same time, he was the only receiver we had that was doing anything. NWI really didn't do anything, and neither did Kyle Phillips. So today was just one of those days, man, where Vrabel's going to go back. He's going to look at the film, and he understands and knows he's got to make some decisions. on this roster, because right now what we have going on is just not working. I'm not so much blaming Tannehill on this one, and I will say this: he's got to look at the offensive line, because we couldn't run the ball today.
I could
You know,
not run the ball at
not
all.
run the ball today, and Derrick Henry. I mean, there was a couple of times where, again, we saw the same thing that we saw last year. You got a hole there, but the offensive lineman can't get out the way, so Derrick can run.
Right.
So it's just one. This was just one of those games, man. It was just all the bad stuff we've been talking about is coming to the fore with this game right here. It's almost like the only thing we did better in this game than we did against Cleveland is that we were able to move the ball. We had offensive firepower, but you couldn't score.
You couldn't score. Yeah, and so some of the things that stuck out, you already kind of mentioned the offensive line, man. We've got to figure out something with the offensive line. Anytime your offensive lineman cannot get to the second level to get the linebacker, that's a problem.
That's a
That's a
problem.
problem. You should be able to get to the second level. I know it's hard sometimes. You got those big people like DeVorest Buckner. I mean, he's a great defensive tackle, man. Don't get me wrong. But you should be able to get off that double team and get up to that second level to get those running lanes. Like you said, we had issues getting out of the hole when there was a hole with our linemen. And I'm with you, man. Christian Fulton, his technique is terrible right now. He's out of position so much that you, and that's how you know he's out of position, because he's grabbing, he's holding so much because he's getting beat.
Yeah.
I don't know if his eyes are in the backfield all the time, but every time he looks like he's looking in the backfield, and they're like, "Oh, oops, there's my receiver running right by me."
Yeah.
And so those two things stuck out. And like you said, you like to see the chemistry that Tannehill and D-Hop has together. That's great. But Chick's got to make those catches, those things like that. We can't have those. I mean, it was just like in Cleveland. You got those costly penalties every time you get down. You get some momentum. You got a costly penalty that's happening. And so let's get some of the comments in. They're coming in fast and furious. Will says we made muscle like Barry Sanders said. No doubt, man. I mean, it was easy picking. Now, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that you got to just give him his credit. He had a good game,
He
bottom
did.
line. But the inconsistency in the front seven, again, with Pop Tart being out, you could just tell. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say here. There was the other thing that stuck out is that we have no D-line depth behind Pop Tart and Big Jeff in the middle. I mean, you can throw Danico in there in the middle, but after those guys, there's nothing behind them that's going to offer any kind of run game defensively, and so to defend the run, excuse me. So you know, you look at the Colts offensive line. Give them credit, man. They did a great job today. They got to our linebackers. They got to our linebackers really easy, and so that made those holes even bigger and run lanes bigger, so that Zach Moss can get through and have a great day. Nathan Moat, man, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining us. Carlton said he went to the game. He says it's time to blow it up and rebuild. Start rebuilding. As the J. Lou is in the building, man. He said Chick can't hold on to the ball. D Hop was embarrassing the young corners. Yet no targets in the red zone. That's a good point, man. No targets in the red zone. Not really sure what happened there. He was eating the whole game, and don't see why they couldn't give him the ball in the red zone. So G-Wit, man, let's just break it down a little further and talk about the offense, because like you said, they moved the ball 348 yards of offense, man. And you would take that any game, right? You would take that in the game. D-Hop had 8 for 140, but the run game was non-existent, 89 yards rushing. They only gave up 1 sack. So for as many times as Tannehill got hit, that was pretty impressive that they only gave up 1 sack. But in the red zone, man, that's where the game was lost today. 1 for 4, and penalties that kept killing us down there in the red zone.
Yeah, man. I mean, and again, that's where those penalties against Chig just really stood out. I mean, it was just bad. But the other thing about it was, you knew it was going to be they do the halfback pass with Derrick Henry to throw it to D Hop, and he overthrows him.
Yeah, that's a great play.
It was a great play call. I have no problem with the play call. It was just he overthrew him.
Right.
But then you come back and you can't do anything else. I mean, basically what you had happen in this game was Indianapolis defense did to our offense what our defense normally does to an opposing offense. They gave you 20-20 and then just shut you down. So they really struggled in the red zone today. I mean, ended up with 3 field goals. and that 4th and 1 play call, I got no problem with him going for it.
No, I don't either.
But the moment Moore and Henry are moving at the same time, your play is blown up.
Right.
You call a timeout and say, okay, we got to try. We got to come up with another play, or we kick a field goal.
Right.
Because
Right.
you're out of sorts on that. And I was upset with that because Tannehill should have called a timeout. Vrabel should have called a timeout. Vrabel should have run up there and called a timeout. So I blame it on both of them. But it was just a bad play call. Bad play all the way around. You knew it was confusion when Moore was moving and everything. You had to wait for him to get set. And Tannehill probably should have just audible out of it and just ran a play action and tried to hit somebody, or try to do a fake play action and run for the first down himself. One of the two. But what they did was not good. I mean, especially when everybody knows on 4th and 1, you're going to give it to Derrick Henry.
And why on earth would you line up in the shotgun anyway?
That's what I'm saying. If you're going to do that, get under center and give yourself some options. Right. Defensive people will always tell you, if you line up in shotgun on short yardage situations, you're giving yourself away. We already know what we need to do. Right. So it's just it makes no sense. Again, I go back to what I said after the Cleveland game, and there's got to be some changes made, and obviously they have not found the consistent changes that they need. We're talking offense here, but the offensive line, I thought pass protection was okay.
It was okay, yeah.
But run blocking, they struggled, man. They couldn't get it done.
They could not get any movement up front.
No movement.
So since we're talking about that run game, so I don't like the way Tim Kelly started the game off today. I thought he was a little bit too conservative with his approach. Now he got moving on that drive a little bit better. He started mixing it up. Of course, they just get 3 points because of the penalties and whatnot. But I think we didn't see too many runs on the edge for Derrick Henry where he put the defensive back in a bind to make a play. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't see enough of that in my opinion. And I thought the formations got a little tight. So he finally threw out of the inverted wishbone formation, which I'm glad he did when he hit D-Hop on that long play action pass. And so I just thought maybe we could have got Derrick a little bit better option since the middle was caving in every time he touched the ball. Let him get to the edge a little bit and see if he can get that one-on-one on that defensive back and make that defensive back make a play. And 8 times out of 10, he's going to win that matchup, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, again, this is just the offense in the red zone today, the field goals, not being able to convert, and the penalties were so big today. We see this team here a couple of games this year, G-Wit, man, they've been undisciplined and getting penalties, and it's always in a crucial moment. Either it's on third down when they're on defense, or it's on third down when they're on offense when they need to get off the field, man.
Yeah, man. It's crazy because offensively, you get a good run, it gets called back for holding. Now you're 1st and 20. Trying to make up everything, or you get a good play call, but then you find that you got somebody down the field blocking before the pass even happens, or you get called instead of you getting a defensive pass interference, it's called for you offensively because you push off, and it's obvious. Mm-hmm. So it's just one thing they cannot find any. The only consistency they are finding is all the mistakes they're making. That's the only consistency they're finding. They're not finding anything consistent that's going to make them successful. Granted, Kelly, I thought he did a good job of play action, but when you look back at that, the main person he was hitting every time was D-Hop. And don't get me wrong, that's fine. That's great.
He was balling.
But where is everybody else, man?
Yeah.
Where is it? You're not, and that's one reason why it was hard to get the ball to them in the red zone because they know.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a shorter field, you got less to worry about. Nobody's going to get open.
Right.
Yeah.
Nathan Moe says no way we win the division, man. It don't look like it right now.
No,
it don't look like it right now.
I would say not. The best we're going to hope for right now with the team that we got, unless they do some changes, the best you can hope for is a wild card.
Yeah.
The best you can hope for. And I doubt that's going to happen.
You see, J. Lou said they had the roof open and the sprinkle rain before the game, and then right there. That's messed up. Never a 4th down and 1 from the shotgun. I agree with you, man. Carl just said he was thinking about that same 4th down call. Looked horrible for him again. Carl just said he went to the game too, G.
Yeah.
Let's see what's up, man. Edward Day, man. Appreciate you joining us, man. Nick Folks, he is a beast. He is
Hey, he ain't
so
missing.
the year that we have a kicker, we can't put everything else together. That's kind of funny, ain't it?
It's always something, man. It's always something. It's the same thing. I mean, we had the years we had those good defense 2 years running. Your offense stinks, and now you know your offense still stinks and is inconsistent. Your defense is inconsistent, and now you got good special teams play. You
Dang,
know, you just can't put it all together.
no, you can't. And here's another telltale sign, G Whit, man. We talk about it all the time on this show. The attempt for Tannehill, 34 today. That's that has I want to go back and I'm gonna have to look to see how many games the Titans have won since he's been a quarterback where he's had over 30 passing attempts.
Yeah.
Because to me, I don't even know if he's won a game before throwing that many times. I could be wrong.
Now
But
he's had a couple, but
okay. But not on
overall,
losing
it's
record.
been losses.
Right. Right. So 23 of 34, 264 yards, interception and a sack. Derrick Henry only 13 carries today, 43 yards. Tajay Spears, 7 carries for 34 yards. And like I said, D Hop leading the way, 8 for 140, and Spears had 4 for 35. Yeah, the ball was spread out pretty good, but like you said, dominating the targets was D Hop, 5 for Spears, 9 for Chig. Now, Tannehill might be losing a little confidence in Chig, man. He's dropping too many passes.
Yeah.
Right. He's dropping too many passes. And,
way.
yeah. And I think, though, a good look by him to NWI in the end zone. I think he puts a little bit more air under the ball. Maybe he can make a play on it, but he threw it on the rope and almost got him in trouble. But hey, I
he
can't
was aiming the ball on that one because he was scared he was going to overthrow him.
Yeah,
so he was pretty much aiming the ball on that and almost got it picked off.
Right. And so, again, you hate to waste the performance by an offense, but again, they couldn't get in the end zone, in the red zone, and it cost us down the stretch. So let's look over at the defense, G. Whitman, because this was supposed to be the mainstay. Even the commentators were commenting how good the run defense has been. And like I said at the beginning of the show, you really can tell that the depth behind Jeffrey Simmons, Pop Tart, and Nico when he plays interior it's lacking. There is none. At all. So there's talk. Here's another thing, G Whit, man. I was really, really shocked. I don't know why I'm shocked because this team cannot put consistent games together at all. I mean, it happens every year, right? It goes up and down, up and down. Bowen, we praised Bowen last week for all the blitzes, all the exotic schemes he put in, the man press. What was it at today, G Whit? What was it at today?
It was so bad. I mean, well, he went back to what we know it wasn't working. He went back to corner blitzes off the slot instead of trying to go up the middle. Then when he did blitz up the middle, he blitzed Gibbons instead of Jazier. So I'm like, Bowen can. That's another problem. Bowen cannot find anything consistent now. Granted, like I said, we're in a situation where our secondary. Last year, we could blame the bad the terrible play of the secondary on injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was getting hurt.
Right.
This year, Sean Murphy Bunting, Christian Fulton, they can't cover.
So let me. I'm not disagreeing with you at all, but let me say this. So let's go back to it was a third down on the last drive. The Colts had the ball for ever and a day when they needed to get a stop.
7 minutes.
3rd and 6.
Yep.
Right. You go man coverage. You blitz, but you got Sean Murphy Bunting 10 yards off the receiver when they only need 6.
Yeah.
They only 6.
Yeah.
And so that just blows my mind. They need 6 yards. And I'm gonna give him a 10-yard cushion. So all he got to do is run a little curl route and get to the sticks.
Run
that's what happened.
Run to 7 yards and turn. because even when you're off that far, what's the thing they always do? As soon as the man takes off, they start backpedaling. So you get 7 yards, just turn around. The ball's gonna be right there. The other thing really was that this is the thing I would say that disappointed me. And I'm gonna blame Shazier because he should have better play recognition than what he did. Okay, we missed the 4th and 1. We get them down. We got them 3rd and 5.
Yes.
All right. So you can pretty much read on the lineup. You can see what's going to happen when they move Zach Moss to the right side of Minshew. you got to be prepared that he's going to throw something in the backfield to Zach Moss because that's going to be the easiest way to get it. And I was disappointed that Shazier didn't move to the line of scrimmage to avoid the pick play that was coming.
Pick play that should have been called like they called it on us.
It
But no,
wasn't.
I digress.
But they wasn't gonna call that though. You got to understand. I knew that.
I do. I understand. But
Yeah.
my point is, they just called it on us early in the game. It's the same exact play. Same exact play they called pass interference on them early. I mean, it's like the same. The same thing.
I'm gonna say like this. I don't think it was the same play because their receiver did it right. He did it right. He didn't initiate no contact whatsoever. It was more, if you want to call it anything, it was a pick play, but it was a rub play. But I mean, Shazier has got to know that's coming.
Yeah, he gotta have more awareness.
That's play recognition. But again, on the defensive side of the ball, there was why in the world you got Gibby trying to cover a small scat back?
It was a receiver.
Oh, a receiver.
Josh Downs.
Yeah. Why you got him trying to cover that guy on a crossing pattern?
Right, known for speed.
And that's the other thing about it. I mean, bottom line is we're in this thing. I don't know. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know. I go back to something you and Jay Lou said earlier in the offseason about them basically tanking the season. They might be doing that, man, with the defense they're calling. And just saying, okay, hey, we're going to make it look like we're playing, but we're really not. Because some of the play calls I've seen and some of the players they put in the position just don't make any sense. Why you got Gibby in coverage? His hips are stiff and he's a run stopper at best. That's all he is.
That's right.
He's not a guy that can cover.
That's right.
So why you got him in coverage doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Right.
And then on top of that, like to go back to your point, on your secondary, you got Sean Murphy-Button and Christian Fulton playing 6 to 8 yards off the line of scrimmage almost every play.
Every play. Even in man coverage.
Yeah, even in man coverage. And even if they play up on the line, the thing that you're doing is that your corners and all of them, your whole secondary, nobody knows how to play bump. Nobody knows how to do a bump and run. I mean, you're letting the guy come free off the line, and then you're trying to hit him, or you do like Christian Fulton. You're playing off the line, and you turn the wrong way, and leave them open, and give up the ground. I mean, go back to you saying this poor technique. But this defense today. I know Big Jeff was pissed off, and I know Danico was pissed off because of the way the secondary, Kevin Bayer was non-existent in the secondary.
I didn't even know he was playing.
And then on top of that, the number of missed tackles.
Man, all day long.
Shazier missing tackles. They can't get receivers down. They couldn't get the running back down. Everybody's trying to tackle the running back high, and he's just carrying them. Yeah. I mean, this was bad. Like I said, the defense. I'm not gonna say they played as bad when they played against Cleveland, but today this was their Giants game from last year.
Yeah, when we needed to stop, they couldn't. The Colts were 8 for 13 on third down, 400 yards offense. And see, Nathan says silver linings, the injuries not piling up like last year. That's true. Gibby's a liability in coverage, right? And then let's see. Darius Williams says Rice in the doghouse. He was in the doghouse because he couldn't stay healthy. It might be time to look at it again. I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens if there's any changes at all. Jay Lou, you said it right there. Too busy trying to strip the ball instead of wrap up and tackle. I saw a lot of that today too.
Yeah. hit the tight end, but didn't wrap him up, and he just bounced off and just kept him. Like, really? Dude, come on, fundamental 101, tackle the man.
429 yards of offense for the Colts, 236 passing, 193 on the ground, 23 carries for 165, 2 touchdowns for Zach Moss. Man, he made a career day against the Titans today. He came in on the average of 93 yards a game, and so he did it to us. Josh Downs with 6 catches for 97 yards, man. So here we are in the second quarter of the season. Starting off in the division game, and we look at the AFC South overall. The Jaguars beat the Buffalo Bills 25-20. They had 3-2. Of course, the Colts 3-2. Texans lose to the Falcons today, so we are tied at 2-3 with the Texans. G-Whip, man, got Baltimore across the pond next week, man. They come back. Well, they almost come back against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh actually came up against them after they led the whole game and won 17-10 on the road. So they're going to be licking their chops, especially playing us a rivalry game, another tough game. They're sitting at 3-2 at the top of their division right now. And if there's not any changes, any adjustments made by this team, it's going to be ugly. Now, I go back to what you just said, though, real quick about the tanking. So let's talk about that for a minute, because we did talk about that in the offseason a lot. And so here's the thing. If that is the game plan, are they using Will Levis as trade bait? Because they traded up to get him. You see what I'm saying? So if they're going to tank, are they tanking for another quarterback? Because they got some dogs coming out this year. Or are they trying to get better draft position to get? I don't know. But I'm with you, though. Something is amiss. For them not to make adjustments. Here we are in week 5, and we saw this same gameplay against Cleveland. We saw similar against the Saints in the first week. Same type of mishaps, penalties, not executing. And then here we are again 5 weeks, and it's the same thing. It's like last week, everybody was like, okay, now we're playing ball. Now we're playing like we thought this team was going to be. But then you come back this week, and it's like a head scratcher, man. I'm telling you, like I said all the time, it's like a bad relationship with these guys. You try to be a fan of the Tennessee Titans.
Like I said, I get jumped on a lot for being so negative and everything. But when you see plays like this and games like this all the time, man, it's hard to feel good about what the Titans are doing, even when they're playing. I mean, even when they're winning. I mean, they won last week against Cincinnati, but you have to go back and look at the fact that you had a hobbled Joe Burrow, and really, you and I were at that game, and we saw a couple of times where if he's healthy, they're hitting us for bombs because Chase, Jamar Chase was open deep a lot.
He said he was open.
He was
after the game.
He was. I when he said that, I'm like, he told the truth. He was open. You go back and look at that game. There were a couple of times he was wide open I'm talking 5 yards past the cornerback. But the only reason being that Joe Burrow just couldn't get the ball to him. He didn't have enough time because the pressure was there. Today, you get Gardner Minshew in there. Granted, he's mobile.
Yeah,
he can move around.
Yep.
But you don't blitz.
Right.
You let him sit back there and pick you apart. You give him all the time in the world. So, I just look at it like I said, I just don't understand. And I will say this. There's something going on really in these coaching rooms and everything, because I'm looking at Vrabel, I'm like, dude, you got that look like I don't know what to do.
That's exactly what he looked like. I was about to say the same thing. He got that look like, man, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to make, what kind of adjustments to make.
Yeah. I mean, he's telling his defense, look, man, you gotta straighten this out. You can't just be giving things away, and they go back out there and still give things away. I'm like, and like I said, it's one or two things going on, man. Like I said, I think, like I said, Christian Fulton is done.
Yeah,
he's done. Bottom line is, that comment after the game lets me know that he's done. And so you might as well just, like you say, if you can get something for him, trade him, get draft picks or whatever, you might as well go ahead and do it. If he prospers in another place, fine and good. You just got to let that go. Because right now, you can tell he doesn't want to be here. Yeah, I'm serious. He don't want to be here. With that comment right there, he doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, but for his technique to be that bad, though, man,
yeah, it's bad. And like I said, it's the polar opposite of how he played the previous years.
It is.
He played better as a rookie than he's playing right now. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, he doesn't want to be here. That's the bottom line. He really doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, and let me. And it's a comment here, Virgil. He said Harold Landry giving up the edge. So that's a great point, Virgil. I'm trying to figure out why Harold Landry is going on the inside on his pass rush so much. and giving up the outside. He never did. I'm not gonna say never. He hardly ever did that
Yeah.
before the injury, right? But now today, I'm like, he's going inside with the inside move, and if I'm a lineman, I'm letting him do it because my quarterback's gonna get outside the pocket.
It's easier for me. I can push him inside to the trash.
Right. So,
I mean, it's
that's a
just
great point.
it's just one of them things, man. When you see the way they're playing right now, it's just not making any sense. And I will say, like I said, looking at Vrabel's face today,
Yeah, he looked lost.
he's saying the same thing. He's like, this
Yeah.
is not making any sense.
Yeah.
So, this is not one of those tapes you talk about. You flush it and you let it go. No, you don't flush
can't.
this one.
You
You call people out, and really you got to call people out. And right now they really need a players only meeting, and somebody needs to smack somebody around
Right.
because
We heard.
what they're doing right now, especially I'm going to point to this secondary because they cannot cover
At all.
at all.
What kills me though, G, is that it's the technique.
Yeah,
It's the technique is so bad. So that goes back to Chris Harris. Chris Harris is supposed to be this great DB coach, and I'm not saying he's not, but what's being put on the field right now, it's been put on tape.
it's not working.
It's not working.
And I'm also gonna say the defensive scheme ain't working.
Well, yeah, we've been saying that for the past few
the
weeks.
defensive scheme ain't working. And I understand I understand they're trying to play it safe and rush forward and everything, but you're not stopping anybody.
Not stopping anybody.
You're just not. I mean, and that's the bad thing about it. You seeing them, and the Colts always had a good offensive line. I'm not taking anything away from them, but today, I mean, they just ruled the roost. I mean, they did to us what we used to do to everybody else.
Right.
I mean,
I agree, Nathan.
Yeah.
Nathan said Michael Butler had that dog in him. These
Yep.
corners. No, you're exactly right.
He
Malcolm
did.
Butler, he would press up and get in your face. You might beat him, but he's gonna be right there on you.
You might beat him. You would beat him. As a matter of fact, sometimes he had a bad habit of turning the wrong way.
Yeah.
But at least
he was physical off the line.
Off the line of scrimmage.
That's right.
These guys, man, they playing. And you guys probably don't remember this, but I'm gonna make the comment. They're playing what I call in the basketball world that Michael Thompson defense.
That's soft defense.
Soft and wet, man. That's all we got. Go back and listen to Prince's first single, "Soft and Wet." That's the way these DBs are playing. They're soft and wet.
That's a great point, J. Lou. He said he's under the mindset you have man-to-man corners, man-to-man DB coach, but yet you want them to play majority zone and they can't do it. I mean, what else can you try other than play man the whole time? Right? Because obviously zone is these guys don't play zone very well. Now, McCreary had a pretty decent game. He had a pretty decent game. But he tackled well, but the Sean Murphy Button and Fulton.
Oh no. And again, it's been like that the whole season.
Right.
It ain't just today.
No, it's not just today.
You're
right.
It's been like that the whole season.
Right.
And
the only thing,
man, they really, like I said, and I'm gonna dispute J. Lou on this one. It doesn't matter if they play man or zone. They're not getting the job done. Bottom line, I don't care. They can't play man and they can't play zone. They played man against Cincinnati, and again, I go back and say, if Joe Burrow is healthy, he lights them up.
Well, they got to do something. They
got
to change something. Baltimore again across the pond over in London next week. Early game. I think it's 8:30 in the morning when it comes on here. Yeah. And you know what they're gonna do. Oh, yeah. They gonna watch that film. They gonna smash it down our throat because that's what they like to do.
And the only thing that may help us if Pop Tart is back next week.
Hopefully he is.
If he's back, then I feel better about the run defense because they were doubling Big Jeff the whole game, so he couldn't get loose. But
I saw 3 of them on him one time.
Yeah, so, yeah. That's what I'm saying. And when you don't have anybody else to take that attention away from them, Grant, they all work together. But Pop Tart's value showed up today because those backups.
Oh yeah, he got paid.
Yeah, they couldn't do anything. Now, granted, Jay Lou's right when his comments we was on the text stream when he said he can't stay healthy. Yeah, that's a problem.
That's right.
But he showed his value showed up today because we couldn't stop the run.
Could not stop
and
the run. And
Pop-Tart is good at run defense. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So
and it might be time to insert Monty Rice back into the game.
Yep.
I mean, we'll see. He's been on special teams a lot. Like you said, I think there needs to be some changes made in some
Yeah, there's got
positions.
to be something, and
Something's got to be done.
somebody's got to change up, and it's going to be not only player wise but schematically on this
Scheme.
defense. Something has got to be changed because for some reason Shane Bowen and Vrabel don't want to blitz,
I don't
and it
understand it.
could be the fact they know that secondary stinks.
Yeah, but
That could be the reason, but it ain't helping you. I mean, it ain't helping you. They can't cover. And I mean, it's bad. And like I said, those comments from Christian Fulton after the game, dude,
for him blaming the officials,
you blaming the officials, and
and
you
he's
you
holding
not
every
taking
time.
responsibility on yourself.
Right.
That's just telling.
Oh my gosh! Oh
I
my
mean, when you
gosh!
say something like that, that just lets me know that. And the way you looking in the face, yeah, it's time for him to. I mean, I'm almost like Jay Lou, and this guy's even worse. You put Avery out there or somebody, but you got to put somebody else out there.
Yeah. Hey, thank y'all for joining us, man, for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell, G with Jay Lou in the chat room, man, cooking it up. Nathan says he's getting cooked every play, but
Every
it's
play.
the refs, right?
Every play.
Oh yeah, Jay Lou said he thinks we see Trey Avery. Yeah. Because like I said, the when Trey Avery played the last game he played, and when Fulton was out, I think that was the Chargers. Look, he might not have made a lot of big plays, but he was in position every time, and they didn't beat him deep. So, I mean, it's a lot to say about that. If you're in position where you're supposed to be at and you're able to make a play on the ball, that's a lot to be said. That's a lot to be said.
Yeah,
So,
like I said, they're going to have to sit Fulton down, man, because he mentally,
he's a liability.
Mentally, he's done.
Yeah, he's a liability at this point.
Mentally, he's
With
done.
his defense.
You can tell.
And don't think he's not going to get picked on every week.
Yeah,
going forward.
you got to look at that, and then you got to look, and they got to figure out something. Like I said, the safety play is not that great either. I'm trying to figure out exactly what's going on because, like I said, schematically, is not what they're doing is not making any sense to me.
No. But again, thank y'all for joining us, man. Check us out next week. We'll be back to break down the Ravens. Look, I didn't even talk about the Ravens game at all tonight. Again, we got to stop the run, got to contain Lamar Jackson, and got to be able to block up front. If we do those things, we can win. That's easy, right? That's the easiest I can make it, G.
Yeah.
Blocking, tackling, and executing the play.
Fundamental football. That's all it is.
So,
we've said it for years. We said it from the very start of this show.
Right.
All them years ago. Football is not complicated.
It's not. Fundamentally sound football. And it's not that. Look, I didn't see Ravens press conference. Did he say the tackle better, coach better speech that he says every week after they lose?
I don't know. I didn't see it either. So.
Okay. But anyway, again, thank y'all for joining us, man. Check us out next week. We'll be back, man, for Halftime Adjustments. I'm Eddie Arnell. That's G Witt, man. We out of here, man.